What is up, guys? It's Dudu Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be looking at overbet jams in 3-bet pots, specifically the call check jam line and the bet check jam line. So the call check jam line from the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller, and the bet check jam line from the 3-bet pot at a position pre-flop raiser. So we have two hand histories prepared and a bunch of MDA, and let's get into it. So I have ace-jack of spades in the big blind. It gets folded to the button, who is a reg. He RFIs, I 3-bet, and he calls. Okay, so the flop comes ace of diamonds, queen of spades, 2 of clubs. We're going to follow along in GTO Wizard as well. And we have our ace-jack of spades, and he calls, and the flop comes ace of diamonds, queen of spades, 2 of clubs. So we know this is a high-frequency c-bet, and we use our bet 20 sizing in this hand. So we go small on the flop. Now, our opponent calls, and the turn comes a 9 of hearts. Now, you can bet or you can check here with ace-jack, but I prefer checking because I know I'm not going to probably get 3 streets with this hand, and based on population tendencies. So it's mixed in a solver, so we can do whatever we want. So I decide to check. Now, he checks back on the turn. So turn goes check, check. Now, the river comes a 6 of spades. So turn goes check, check. And now the river is a 6 of spades. Now, again, I am not really incentivized to bet. Why? Because there's an overfold. And I know how population is playing in the call check bet line. So what I decide to do with my ace-jack is I check. Now something unusual happens. When I check the river after I c-bet flop, turn went check, check, now I check the river, my opponent goes all in. He goes all in for $24.15 into $9. Now let's see what that is. $24.15 divided by 900. So that's about 270% pot. So let's follow along on the solver. I check and he jams. Now, it's a 0 EV spot with ace-jack, so we have a decision to make. We have to think about tendencies. Let's think about tendencies. Let's look at some data. Now, I don't have this exact formation, but this is under the gun versus blinds, call, check, bet. Now, what do you notice from call 30, check, bet for reg MDA? You see that when they bet huge, it's over bluffed, because what should this 280 sizing, what should this be? It should be 280 divided by 280 plus 100, so 660. Should be 42%. Now, it's a small sample size, but that is a huge, huge discrepancy between what it should be and what it actually is. So, we have a theory that this is over bluffed, and I think it is. Now, I can't say for sure because I don't have enough of a sample size, but my theory is that it's over bluffed. So when he jams in game, I have a theory it's over bluffed, and I'm pretty sure it is, and he has king jack of diamonds. So we know that we have to look at this hand from my opponent's perspective. Look at the hand from the 3-bet pot in position pre-flop caller's perspective. So we see, sorry, that's the wrong one. We see in the bet 30 check fold line, so this is from his perspective. What do you notice if he goes to 80? Population is folding 87% of the time. What should they be folding? Well, they should be folding risk divided by risk plus reward. They should be folding 76. So there's a 14% overlay. So they're incentivized to jam. So we have data in the call check bet line for the under the gun versus blinds formation, and we see that it's way off what it should be. So I'm happy to make an educated guess and say that this is over bluffed. Okay, so let's go to the second hand history. That was a fun one. Let's go to the bet, the inverse of this hand. Instead of call check jam from the imposition preflop caller, let's go to the bet check jam from the 3-bet pot out of position preflop raiser. Okay, let's go to hand number 2. So we're in the cutoff this time. We raise our opponent, who is a reg, 3 bets in the small blind, and we call. Now let's follow along in GTO Wizard. The flop comes Jack of spades, 6 of diamonds, 4 of diamonds. So let's follow along here. Now he went a little smaller here, so I'll just go to small so we can kind of make it a little more accurate. And I have my pocket 5s, and I call pre-flop, and the flop comes Jack of spades, 6 of diamonds, 4 of diamonds. Now my opponent c-bets flop. He goes a little bit bigger this time, so he goes about half. So let's say he goes half pot, and I have my 5 diamonds 5x, and nothing to do but call. Now on the turn, he checks on an 8 of diamonds, and I check back. Okay, so turn goes check, check. Remember, this is the bet check jam line. So 8 of diamonds on the turn. My opponent checks. I have 5 of diamonds 5x, and I decide to check back. Now the river is the fun part. The river comes a 4 of spades, and he jams all in. So he bet 50 on the flop, and then he check turn, and then jam river. So what should I do with my 0 EV bluff catcher? Now this isn't really a GTO line, but let's pretend it is. So here, I have a decision to make. I know bet check bet is over bluffed, but I want to look at sizings. So let's go to sizings for, this is blinds versus button. In the actual hand, it's cut off, but we'll get there in a second. Now this is bet 30 check bet, so it's not exact, but what do we notice from the 280? The same trend as the call check jam, 52 week. Now it's not a great sample size, but still it's trending towards over bluffs. This should be 42 and it's 52. Let's go to the blinds versus cutoff formation. Bet 30 check bet. Again, what do you see? 45 week, it should be 42. So we're noticing this pattern. We're noticing a pattern that when they bet flop and they check turn and then they jam river, it is over bluffed. So what I do is I call in game, and he has ace of spades, queen of diamonds, and we take the pot. So what is important to understand here is I want to look at that, actually that last hand from the out of position pre-flop raiser's perspective, because like I said, remember, they're incentivized to bet. You have to understand, look at the MDF here. Remember, he went 280. Now 280 divided by 380 is supposed to be 73%. It's 84 in this spot. So if they understand MDA, they know it's overfolded, so they're incentivized to jam with bluffs, right? So we know that, so we use that knowledge against them, and we call down lighter in the bet check jam line and also in the call check jam line. So once you understand what the incentives are, and once you understand how people use MDA and how they attack the overfolded lines, now we realize that they're overfolded, and now they overbluff, and then as a counter, we overcall. So I thought those were 2 cool hands. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe. New video every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you guys the next video. Take care.